Okay, Maggot King loot. The rewards don't feel as satisfying as they should. Would making a number of improvements in the next week's update. Adding elite scrolls, minor adjustments to the drop table. Changing harvested loot to go directly into your inventory. Thank goodness. Removing the 15 leech fin drop. Hell yeah. Thank goodness. We're monitoring the feedback after these issues. Okay, great. Yeah, the loot sucks. Thank goodness. Sap treated log interactions. We've seen a lot of discussion around sap treated logs having one click fletch option when you have a knife in your inventory. Oh, this is what the behemoth was talking about when people were tick manipping. Brother, I'm never gonna tick manip anyway, so it is what it is. I guess if people are abusing that, let them cook for a bit. Sun Spear and Blisterwood Steaks. Sun Spear feels underwhelming. Is that the thing that you get from completing the Blood Moon Rises? I put that in my bank. I didn't even know it did anything. It's also been reported that Blisterwood Steaks are performing better than intended. Blisterwood Steaks? People are popping off with the Blisterwood Steaks, like the throwing knives. We're planning on making changes so stakes are more viable but not stronger than the current flail and sun spear. Leech fin fishing. Increasing the number of blood sacks obtained. Yeah, that was trash. They need to increase that a lot. We've seen the feedback that Crimson Kiston isn't performing as intended. Oh, that was when people were one-shotting stuff with PvP. Okay. Fixing the doors in Castle Drakan. Ranged ammo during the Maggot King boss. Drops on the arena side, which is inaccessible for players. Okay, that's weird. Maggot King's projectile color should be more distinct. Yeah, that's why I'm using projectile override, because it's ass. In the meantime, one helpful distinction is the poison floor splats always face diagonally, while disease floor splats face... Okay, so that's for people that are real colorblind. They can look at the shapes on the floor. Or you could just use plugins and projectile override that bad boy. Change it to Doom. We'll update the RNI scout outside of Castle Drakan so the gravestone transport can use coins from your banker death coffer. Seeker arrow conversion. We've seen your feedback that converting seeker arrows feels too restrictive, and we're exploring a solution we think will be better in the long run. While we work on that, we recommend holding onto your buckets of sap for now, so you get the most of the changes when it's ready. Yeah, that's what people are saying too. Don't dip your arrows. Just bank your sap and wait. Maggot King death fees are a little bit punishing when you're learning the encounter. Okay, so maybe they'll make it less expensive to learn it. What, like first 50 kills or something is reduced rate? We've seen a lot of feedback around Bloodwood trees, as it's clear we missed the mark here. Many of you expected them to be a lower intensity, more AFK method. Really? These are the ones that give you the sap, right? We won't be able to get a proper fix into this week's update until we take the time to implement it properly, then rush anything out half measured. Our goal is to have implements ready. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be AFK because it's really high XP, right? Like farming the buckets of sap. Okay, I will admit it would be cool if there was an AFK option, but I don't know if everything needs to have an AFK option. Especially not for like Abyss power item in the game. They are a lot of clicking. I mean, it wouldn't hurt if there was an AFK option that was slower. You know what I mean? If Jagex said that they should have an AFK option that's much slower, and then they didn't deliver that, then yeah, that's on them. They're gonna have to add that in. That's what they proposed for the activity, a less XP version. I really like what they did with the woodcutting, with the active skilling. So, but I could see how it would be kind of annoying if you really want to get the secret arrows, but you don't, like, you're at work or something, and you're trying to still get it done. I mean, that's kind of what RuneScape's about, is being able to play while you're not supposed to be playing. So if they can have some kind of method for that too, that would be sick. They said they're going to add it in, so that's dope. I'm on board with it. We've seen a lot of requests to make the lower Drakan fight replayable. Oh, shit. And honestly, it's great to see so many of you enjoyed the encounter and want to give it another go. For now, though, we don't have any plans to make the fight repeatable. What? Part of what makes the encounter so memorable is the epic end to the Marike storyline. We like to preserve that feeling rather than turn it into a repeatable event. We also want to reassure you of wondering what this means for future quest bosses. Drakan was designed as a unique finale on one of our longest running storylines and shouldn't be taken as a new standard for every quest boss going forward. That said, we're incredibly pleased with how the new encounter has been received. Definitely lessons that we've taken into PvM content beyond just quest bosses. Seeing many of you enjoy the mechanics presentation and sense of progression has been fantastic. Honestly, lower Drakan, W boss. Loved it. I only got to fight him twice. So, I mean, it would be kind of cool to fight him again because I had a lot of fun. I feel like that is probably my favorite boss in the game. Just with how the dodging and everything ended up working out, they definitely cooked with it. But yeah, it's kind of bittersweet, I guess. I mean, I'm happy I killed him fast, but like also yeah, it's kind of it would be kind of cool to fight him again, but I guess I'll have to do it on my main one day. Drakan was the best PvM OSRS has ever put out. It's not even close. I would say, yeah, I would say the Drak fight and then like Doom Wave 8 is like the best fights in RuneScape. Those are the ones I really enjoy and look forward to, and they're also very hard fights, and they might be the two hardest fights in RuneScape. Very, very, very much at the top. Actually, we could do that. Chat. Let me leak my notepad real quick. This is my Castle Drakan notes here. Chat. Hardest fights in RuneScape. What are they? Are we saying Radiant contracts? Are we saying Awakened bosses? Does Castle... I wonder if Drakan makes it into the top 5 here. I'm going to say Awakened bosses. That's Blorva. Is Radiant... You think Radiant's harder than Awaken? Radiant Oathplate. Okay. Why don't we put Radiant Oathplate at number 1? And the reason that I would put it at number 1 is because there is that one insane contract to just get a piece of Oathplate. But that's not a Radiant Oathplate. But they do the hardest content in the game is that one contract that gives you a piece of Oathplate. And then I think that people say like sensory clouding is probably harder than Awakened Leviathan. Would you guys say sensory clouding is harder than Awakened Leviathan? I'm going to say yes, but I've never done it. 5 and 6 Jads. You guys say 5 or 6 Jads is number 3. What's number 3? 5 plus 6 in a row. I'm going to put 5/6 Jads. These are just normal fights. These are not... We're not going to get into... What is it? See, we're not... What is it? We're not going to get into Zuckhelm shit. Combat achievements. We're not going to get into CAs, but... Y'all think 5 or 6 Jads is the 3rd hardest fight in the game? Nah, no echo versions. I'm just trying to see if lower Drak makes it into the top 5 here. Is it Doom Wave 8 after this? You guys think Demonic Brutus is more difficult than Doom Wave 8? Demonic Brutus 2-shots you? I don't know, man. Brutus is a freaking easy boss, dude. It's 2 clicks. Have you done Demonic Brutus? Yeah, I did it in the first day. Not that many tries. With no guide. So you guys think Inferno... Alright, so Inferno, Colo, and then Doom Wave 8. Nah, I would say Inferno and Coliseum are even difficulty. with whichever one that you do first being harder. And the reason is Colo has more technical difficulty but shorter, but Inferno has the endurance difficulty, which could be harder for certain people. So that's why I say they're even difficulty with whichever one you do first is harder. Are we saying that 5 and 6 Jazz shouldn't even be on this list or what? I could just put Inferno and Colo at the same difficulty. The Drakan fight would be hard if it was punishing, but it's not. The reason I think that the Drakan fight, yeah, is not that hard is because of the amount of supplies you're allowed to bring in and how overpowered the supplies are. It leaves too much room for error. 5 and 6 Jazz is a CA. There's no other reason to do it. We did say we weren't going to include CAs. Drakan isn't hard. If perfect Drakan, guys, if perfect Drakan was a CA, is that the hardest, one of the hardest CAs in the entire game? I feel like it would be. Perfect Drakan would be crazy hard. That would be #1 hardest CA. There's no way, bro. That's like landing, I don't know, that's like landing 100 perfect dodges in a row. That would be insanely hard. Perfect Drak would be so crazy. That just showed, like, if you start thinking about it, like how hard that would be, you'd have to restart it so many times. Okay, so if we're taking out challenges, hardest fight in the game, I guess I don't know if I want to put raids in here. Nah, I would still say actually solo Olm. Nah, solo Verzik is harder. Nah, solo Tob would be #1. I don't know if I want to put on this list you trying to do it like this is solo Olm is a self-imposed challenge. It's not really designed with the idea of it. That's a CA. Solo Tob is so hard that it's not even a CA. That's like a self-imposed challenge. And then Perfect Top's a CA. I'm just thinking of like, what are the top 5 hardest fights in the game that are not CAs? And it's usually all the challenge. It's like a lot of the challenge cosmetics. All 4 of the challenge cosmetics are very tough. And then probably like a 500, maybe like a 500 TOA. Solo. I don't think Drakan makes it here. I don't think Drakan makes it into the top 5. Would you guys say Fang Kid is harder than Doom Wave 8? I think so. The only problem with Fang Kit is you can be carried through it. You know what I mean? Change the title to Rupture Necklace today, 100%. Bet, I will. We'll go ahead and believe that into existence. All right, boom, title updated. Okay. I don't know. The Lord Drakan fight was pretty tough. You can be carried to Radiant Oathplate too. No. No, you can't. Can you? We're not talking about giving someone else your login, right? No, we're not talking about that bullshit. No. It's a single. Radiant contracts are solo. That's the only problem with the Fang Kit is you can be carried. So if you do it solo though, I would say yeah. Is there anything else that should be in the top 5, or do you guys think that these are the top 5 hardest things in the game? Can I get mods so I can ban the one guys? Nah, we'll let the one guys cook today. See, that's why I don't want to put solo here, because if you start putting solo in front of stuff, then it's like, dude, then you have to make another list, because then solo Tob's at the top. Y'all really think that Demonic Brutus should be in the top 5? I've been seeing a lot of people say that. Can we even, is there even a top 5 hard bosses in the game? A lot of these depend on an iron or main with Biss, like Doom with ZCB and Tebow must be different. Would Awakened Vard make it? I put Awakened bosses at number 2 and then Radiant Oathplate contracts. Radiant Oathplate contracts at 1, Awakened bosses at 2, Inferno Colo at 3. I guess you could just do this, right? But the Inferno Colo are pretty interchangeable. Okay, so why do we... You think Fasani is harder than Doom Wave 8? No, not Tree Spirit. Just because I died to that doesn't make it hard, okay? So like the honorable mentions was like the 5 and 6 Jads. Obviously, most things done solo. Tob. I would say like solo raids. Solo raids are not in here. Self-imposed challenges are not in here. Honorable mentions 5 and 6 Jads, solo raids, GM CAs. You know what I mean? Like Grandmaster combat achievements. But yes, we know that most of these would be on there, but these are CAs. I guess 5 and 6 Jads is a Grandmaster CA. So it doesn't even need to be mentioned. And then I would say like number 1, getting a girlfriend. Probably one of the hardest things in RuneScape. Just an honorable mention. We'll put that on there. Probably a lot harder than most of these things, I think. 500 plus TOA. Yeah, that would go under solo raids. Solo raids and GMCAs are not on this list. Beyond this, if we were to extend this, I mean... If we were to extend this to like... Is Drakan harder than Fasani? If it wasn't for the supplies... The problem with Drakan is the supplies. That's the real issue. The supplies make it too easy. If you had your own supplies, Drakan would be harder than Doom Wave 8. If you had to use your own supplies. If you had to use real Cerebrew, Drakan would be almost as hard as Inferno and Colo. The brew inventory method trivializes it. Yeah, the fact that brews only lower your stats by 1 is so cheese. He would also have to do more damage. I don't know if he would, because then your stats would be brewed down the whole time. The -1 is just massive. I haven't done Fasani Nightmare yet by myself, so... Which is obviously a solo fight, so obviously you do it by yourself. But, I mean, I've done the regular Nightmare. Or have I killed Fasani? Can I check my Nightmare? Fasani 0. I'm at 0 KC. I've never killed Fasani Nightmare. Guys, I think Drakan... Even if we were to put Drakan even with Fasani... It almost makes it into the top 5 hardest fights in the game. As a regular quest boss. It is by far, I think, the hardest fight for a regular quest boss. That's a pretty tough quest. Like, quest bosses are generally a watered down version of the actual boss. You know what I mean? And then honestly, like, a lot of people say Tree Spirit is one of like the hardest bosses too. And that's not because I lost my hardcore to it, but that's just because at the point of entry relative to the timeline of the equilibrium of like the whole game design as a perpendicular unit, Tree Spirit, like where it intersects at the intersection of the toughness and the mechanical activity that's happening there with relative to your game knowledge, a lot of people are saying Tree Spirit is quite difficult. Yeah. People actually say that. And then I think Brutus, Demon Brutus. We could put Demon Brutus up here on the list. This is how I would rank the hardest fights in RuneScape right now. But if you do Demon Brutus with my guide, I mean, it's going to be immediately one of the easiest fights in the game. So I'm not really sure. Kahlo isn't even on Inferno level. Dude, we already went over that. The age-old, like, debate over what's harder, Inferno or Kahlo, is exactly why they're the same difficulty, and whichever one you do first is harder. Because you develop the skills that you need for the other one while doing the first one. That's why I have the best take on that, and there's never going to be another take. What about duo or solo next? Yeah, that's like solo raids. I mean, we'll put next down as a raid. Solo raids, encounters. I mean, anything that's not tuned for a solo player and you do it solo is pretty hard. I mean, you start putting like Solo Yama would be on there too. Like Solo Yama's pretty tough too. That's like 7-8 minute kills for me. Like there are some people that can solo next, solo top and stuff like that, but they're not like, those are like self-imposed challenges. Other raids are easy solo. Well, TOA has a literal button that like a literal scale that you can slide and make it as hard as you want. Yeah, like player imposed challenges, those go in honorable mentions in RuneScape. No Prayer Coliseum. I wonder what Raids 4 will be like. Well, they already told you what Raids 4 will be like. And it's going to be a 2-man raid, or scaled for 2 players, but very hard to do solo. So instead of Tob, which is scaled for 3 players. So in a way, maybe you might think that Raids 4 could be easier than Tob, since Tob is tuned for 3 and Raids 4 will be scaled for 2. Scaled for 2 people until Port Kazar gets his hands on it? Yeah, Port Kazar will probably solo Raids 4, no problem. Same with like No Monkey, Sync, Noob Type. All those guys will probably solo Raids 4, no problem. Molgo Kirby will probably handle it, no problem too. Anything gets easier with repetition. Hard to compare one-off content with repeatable. Oh, you're saying that Drakan might be easier if you did 1,000 KC on it? Like Drakan goes down the list. Well, Demon Brutus is a one-off. I mean, you can farm Demon Brutus. I just don't know why you would. These are all repeatable stuff. But Oathplate Contracts and Awaken, I mean, once you finish it, you pretty much stop. All these, once you finish it, you stop. The only ones that you really farm here are Doom Wave 8 and Fasani. I mean, you go back for CAs in some of these, but Doom Wave 8 and Fasani are repeatable. I would say what makes something difficult is like how many times you have to do it until you get it on farm or until you kill it. For me, Drakan was a tough fight, but the supplies made it easy. I haven't tried Fasani yet. Demon Brutus took me maybe like 25 attempts or something. 30 maybe. I can't remember. Doom Wave 8 was like 250 attempts or 250 delves. It was a lot of delves before I got a Doom Wave 8. Inferno and Kahlo. Kahlo was 55 attempts. Inferno 75 attempts. I've done only 1 Awakened boss and 0 Radiant Oathplate contracts yet. So a lot of this difficult stuff I haven't even gotten to yet in the game, which is kind of crazy. Getting a girlfriend, that's impossible. Yeah, that's why I put it on the list, man. It's insane. It's just insane. I don't know how anyone's out there doing it. Okay, so that is the changes. We went over like the changes that are coming soon. And I was curious to see if Lord Drakan would make it into like the top 5 hardest encounters in the game. And right now it seems like it's about at number 6 or maybe tied with Fasani. But it would be much harder if the supplies were not overpowered. So that's kind of where we're at with it.